Good day. Today I've lined up my two favorite amps in the world to find out which one of my favorite amps is my favorite amp, and possibly some more. I'm winging it today. Let's find out. A couple of months ago I did a video on the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus amp in which I demoed it and shot it out against a few amps you voted on, and in that video I made the statement that the Prometheus is my new favorite amp, a spot that was previously occupied by my Diezel Herbert Mark I for the longest time. And yeah, some of you guys wanted me to shoot it out against the Herbert too, even though you didn't vote for it initially. I've had the Prometheus for about 3 months now, so the honeymoon period is probably over at this stage, so it's the perfect time to find out which one really is my favorite now. Is it still the Diezel Herbert Mark I, or is it the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus? To do so, I'm using my Engl XXL 412 down here, the heaviest cab I own. It is literally built like a brick shithouse, and I'm using my radial headbone switcher down there next to a Maxon OD808X. I'm just going to be going back and forth between high gains, boosted high gains, maybe with the mid-cut, some crunch and some cleans. Not necessary to try and dial the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus to sound like the Herbert, but just to get a feel how different they are. I felt like doing something different than my usual setup with a load box on IRs and using one of my real cabs here just to keep it interesting. I know some of you guys don't like IRs. I obviously do. I use IRs I make myself in most of the videos, but today I felt like doing something different, just mixing it up. So I've got an SM57 pointing at the edge of the dust cap on the Vintage 30 down there, and a Beyerdynamic M160 pointing right at the middle of that Vintage 30 there, but about 10 centimeters from the grill, just to blend in. Mainly to justify why I bought the microphone. I need to convince myself that that was a good investment. I'll probably be using a few different guitars for this because I feel like it. I'm going to start off with my most gimmicky guitar, the Gibson Falcon V here with a Seymour Duncan Blackened in the bridge and I think an SH2 in the neck. I think that's enough talking. Let's get into it. So the Prometheus responds a lot faster. The attack is much more immediate. Let's dial down the cut a bit. Let's take out the boost. in the mid cut. Is that in the boost again? Let's try some mid-gain tones. I've got the Prometheus on the vintage mode and Herbert on channel 2 minus mode. Let's add a boost to that. Let's do some cleans. Okay, time for a different guitar to get back into the dirties. Okay, this is my Charvel Socal with Black Winters. It's in drop C, and I need to take the distraction bar off because otherwise I'll just be doing stupid shit all night. Two quite different yet similar amps. The Prometheus has a much different high end. It's much more present, and it just has much more attack. It feels more immediate, while the Herbert feels a little slower in comparison, but really thick too. But if I'd have to pick a favorite, I think it's the Prometheus. I think, yep, it is still my new favorite amp. I prefer it over the Diezel Herbert. But the Herbert is still my second favorite by a healthy margin. I feel like checking out a few more amps. I had you guys vote which amps to shoot them out, and you didn't pick my choice in all categories. Let's check out one or two amps really quickly. Keep a little dirt on the pillow for the dirt man, in case he comes to town, to his lair deep under the mountain. One of the amps in the British category to vote for was the Orange Rockerverb 50 Mark III, and I think that was runner-up to the Marshall JVM H410 HJS. I've spoken to a few people who've played the Prometheus, and a few of them say they found it similar to the Orange Rockerverb. Now, from my memory, I didn't get that at all. It's not an amp that comes to my mind when I think of amps that are similar to the Prometheus. But again, I have a love-hate thing with the Orange. I love it one day, hate it the other, and then love it the next day again. There's a few things that bug me about that thing. It's the notched pods, for one thing. I love that on preamps because it allows you to recall settings really quickly. On an amplifier, I hate it. It's a minor thing, but on the gain, for example, the sweet spot to me is usually right between two notches. You can balance the pod there. I'm pretty sure they're just regular pods under there with some kind of a ring underneath that allows you to, you know, clip into different positions. But I digress. I might make a video on the Orange Rockerverb later. Let's just check out some high gain tones with and without a boost, and yeah, possibly move on. Let's go. See, that's exactly what I mean. I can't get the gain in the exactly right position to me, but to be honest, I'm freaked. They do sound rather similar in the room. The Prometheus is definitely tighter sounding, but the overall voicing is surprisingly similar to me. Let's add a boost to that. They're a lot closer sounding than I thought they'd be. Obviously, the Prometheus is the far more versatile amp, and it's a little tighter sounding too, but yeah. I guess I was wrong. They're not too dissimilar, at least in the room, to each other. I'll have to check it in editing under the microphone, but in the room, really, really close. There's one last amp I want to do a quick comparison to the Prometheus with. Oh, these are deceptively heavy. This is my Dover DA50, and it's probably the tightest amp I own, and I just want to play one or two riffs between that and the Prometheus to see if the Prometheus can be just as tight. So I'm going to have to call it a night because my first camera's already died. The second one down here for the pedals is about to die. I think the Prometheus, at least in the room, rivals the Dover in tightness. With the cut knob up, I think it could be even tighter. That's cool. In the room they sound not too dissimilar from each other. I'll have to check how it sounds into the microphone in editing, and I'll meet you back in a sec with my final thoughts. Okay, I need to start this off by acknowledging that I'm an idiot. I'm so used to filming the amp videos in the other room up there and speaker videos with this setup here that it didn't occur to me to put a camera right on the amp so that you can see the settings. Yeah, my bad. I hope I edited in the settings in post at the beginning of the clips because luckily I barely touched the EQ at all. So this is a message to myself. Stop editing this part and edit in the amp settings first so people don't call you stupid. As for the amps, I found the results very interesting, and thank goodness for amp switchers. They really help to put things into perspective. And I was quite surprised how different the Diezel Herbert was to the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus, especially without a boost. With the boost in front, it's a bit of an equalizer there, but without a boost, very different amplifiers, and that surprised me because I love them both so much. The Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus is definitely my favorite. It's just a joy to play. It's so flexible, and the Diezel Herbert, quite different. I love that too, but for very different reasons. The Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus is very shapeable. It's easy to play. It's got a really immediate attack and a great feel. It's just fun to play. The Diezel Herbert to me is fun to play too, but it is not an easy amp to play, as most Diezels are in my experience. They really challenge you. What you put in is what you get out, and I really think that playing Diezel amps has made me a better player. I know I'm still not a great player, but I used to be worse. But yeah, the amps respond very differently. They also sound different in the mids. The Diezel Herbert has those squishy Diezel mids that are very polarizing. Some people love them, some people hate them. I belong to the former camp. I really love the character of the amp. With the mid-cut engaged on the Diezel Herbert, you can shape the tone of the amp quite significantly. I'd say though in a different manner and not quite as drastically as the controls on the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus allow. So yeah, the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus is definitely my favorite amp at the moment, and will probably be for a long time. And the Diezel Herbert is without a doubt my second favorite amp, and will probably remain so for quite a while. Compared to the other amps, I was quite surprised how similarly the Orange sounded to the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus. Again, the Prometheus was tighter and that works without the boost. The Rockerverb is another amp I would probably never play without a boost, at least for high gain tones, but quite interesting. I really should do a video on the Orange Rockerverb. Would you be into that? Let me know in the comments. And finally, the Dover DA50, the tightest amp I own. At least I thought so, because I think the Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus can sound even tighter than that. In the playback, I noticed that the Dover sounded a little bit tighter than the Prometheus, but that is with the Prometheus bite setting in the most docile position and with the cut knob pretty low. If you change that switch's position and cranked up the cut, the Prometheus would out-type the Dover easily. And also the Dover with a boost in front, it was a little feedbacky. The Prometheus, dead silent. Awesome amp. But what did you think? Let me know in the comments. And how did you like this format? Do you prefer my other format with the load box, which is a little more controlled and easier for me to make because I can put on headphones and hear the amps directly, how they sound under the microphones, or with the IR, I should say. With my setup here, it's a little more different. There's a lot more chaos going on in the room and I have to evaluate a bit in post. Ideally, I'd have a control room, but that's not feasible right now. Just let me know. And in general, the channel seems to have been picking up quite a lot this year. I've got lots more planned. I have speakers here. I think next up is a Jensen video, and the good people at Fein Acoustics sent me a whole bunch of speakers to check out. I've got a whole bunch of Eminence and Celestians packed up there. And my buddy Christoph sent me a Tone Tubby speaker. I want to do some more tests as well. I'm climbing up the signal chain. I've done the Shure SM57 video now. Next, I want to see how different preamps shape the tone. I've got a 500 series lunchbox there filled with expensive preamps, and I have the sneaky suspicion that that's the point on the curve of diminishing returns that will probably make me cry if I investigate it, but it has to be done. And what I'd also like to do is apply my testing methods to tubes to see if power amps and preamp tubes shape the tone and how so. And there's a few videos out there you probably know. But some parameters are ignored in those tests, and not to sound too full of myself, I think I might be able to add some data there. So just let me know what you want to see. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of stuff, there's loads more on my channel. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time, hopefully. Bye bye.